there, friends. Welcome to After GMS. The Good Morning Show goes on Facebook.
Yes, and it goes on and on and on. At least Monday through Friday anyway. So glad you're here with us. We do have a lot to talk about. I'm Tracy McCain here with Ben Briscoe. Meteorologist Christian Morgan has the spotlights because it is a weather day.
It's a weather day, a day to pay attention for sure, to stay weather aware. That's the two words I want you to remember, especially as we get into the afternoon. So while we're here, let's set the stage first. Take a live look over downtown High Point. It's a foggy morning of weather, and if you step outside, it feels a little bit eerie, right? It's warm, it's muggy, and typically my rule of thumb is that if something doesn't feel right in the weather, then likely it's not. And usually that's a good signal of changes that are about to happen. And that's where we're going for today. 64 right now out the door in High Point. The humidity off the charts right now. And you see visibility as well down to a couple miles, if not below a mile in many spots this morning. So keep that in mind heading out to work and school or wherever you may be headed for your morning errands this morning. Plan some extra travel time just in case you run into some of that fog. 63 in Greensboro out the door, 63 in Asheboro, 63 in Lexington too, 64 High Point and Winston-Salem. You get the picture. Mid-60s for all of us, and those dew points starting to creep up too. Notice down in Troy, Pinehurst, Albemarle area, we have dew points in the mid-60s. Further to the north, we have dew points in the low 60s, and further to the north up into Virginia, we have dew points in the upper 50s. That warm and muggy air is going to be surging in from the south as we go further throughout the day. So with temperatures climbing up close to 80, dew points in the 60s, that is really juicy air or really thunderstorm fuel as we head into the afternoon. On the radar right now, nothing more than just a few light showers across the Piedmont. And if you were up early with us on the Good Morning Show, we were tracking these moving across the mountains and eventually the foothills, and now they have made it to the Triad. On a wider view, here's the big system, big spinning area of low pressure out over St. Louis this morning with a cold front draped across the Carolinas and a strong cold front draped across the deep south this morning. This is new this morning. Even since last night, we have all been upgraded to a level 3 risk for severe weather. That includes a good chunk of North Carolina, including all of our area in the Piedmont Triad. So this again is new, and this is a level 3 out of 5, upgraded from a level 2 that it was yesterday. This is our highest risk for severe weather that we have seen so far this season and so far this year. So a good day to pay attention. Here's the setup. Warm front lifting to the north as we go throughout the day as the system gets closer. And by the afternoon, the Piedmont's going to be positioned between that warm front to the north, a cold front to the west, and a strong area of low pressure pretty close by as well. And that's what we call the triple point in meteorology. And typically that's the spot where the strongest storms or the most severe storms are able to form. So that's why I think we need to pay attention this afternoon, especially with a setup like this. By tomorrow, the front is biased, but we're still dealing with the pesky cloud cover and some moisture from this system, but just in the way of regular old rainfall. Scattered showers for your Saturday. It'll be getting cooler too. Highs near 70 Saturday. And just wait till you see the forecast for Mother's Day. Maybe you want to get mom a sweater. Here's how Futurecast and how it plays out as we go. Yeah, I'm stealing that from Ed Matthews. Yeah, you call me out on that. Here's the Futurecast as we go throughout the rest of the day. Again, really no issues this morning, maybe some scattered showers, but as we go into the afternoon, really after about 2 and 3 o'clock, I want you to pay close attention as that line comes through that could have some strong or even severe thunderstorms in them, especially for that evening commute time frame, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. I think that's when most of the action is going to be rolling through our area. So make sure you have a way to receive warnings if they get issued. After about 8 and 9 o'clock, this really pushes to the east of us, but I'll still keep an eye on the radar as the actual front comes through, just to see if another line or some more storms are able to form along that. The difference in today and what we've seen the last few days is that, one, storms are going to be more numerous and more widespread. We also have a tornado risk that we do need to keep an eye on. Low risk along the South Carolina-North Carolina border. For our area, more of a medium to higher risk. So I do think there could be a few tornadoes across our area or across North Carolina. So it is something we will pay close attention to. There's your rough arrival times. Again, don't take these to the bank, but a good estimate. 3 to 6 in the foothills, 5 to 8 in the Triad proper, 7 to 10 east of the Triad as you go toward Alamance County and toward the Raleigh-Durham area. Again, primary threats today are going to be those damaging wind gusts, also that risk of a few tornadoes. We'll likely see a couple hailstones with some of these storms as well. I don't foresee flash flooding being an issue because the storms will be moving so fast. Even outside of any storms, it's a warm and muggy day of weather and a bit breezy from time to time with highs near 80. Scattered showers 70 for your Saturday. There's the Mother's Day forecast, drying it out, but it will be cool, especially compared to the 80s we've had this week. Low 60s for Sunday. We're dry heading into next week, and we warm it back up by the middle of the week into the mid 70s.
All right, so we do have some conversations that are necessary when we're talking about severe weather. I did see someone say that they were on edge because of the threat of severe weather.
Yeah.
What can you say to kind of calm the situation? Because you do hear level 3 out of 5 and you're
Right.
like, whoa, what's going on?
So let me geek out just a minute here.
Okay.
In meteorology terms, so we are not the ones that actually issue these threat levels.
Right.
It's the Storm Prediction Center out in Norman, Oklahoma, part of the National Weather Service. And when you see a level 3 out of 5, immediately your mind goes to thinking, oh, this is going to be a super, super bad day of weather.
Right.
Yeah, like I go to DEFCON 3 in my
Right.
mind.
Correct.
That's how I view it, right?
That's a good, analogy. I like it.
And that risk level is not so much the severity of the event. It's the confidence that there's going to be some severe weather happening in these areas.
So it's better to look at it like there's a 60% chance of severe weather.
Right, so
that's kind of what they're saying.
Right, so this is a significant, if you really want to break it down, this is a significant risk for some severe weather in our area today. Then if you break it down even further than that, I was mentioning the tornado risk. A lot of times, you can see on the map percentage, well, there's a 2% here, 5%, 10%. And that really doesn't mean a whole lot to somebody just looking at that graphic. So that's why I put some words on there. So there's a low risk of a couple tornadoes south of here. For our area though, there's a significant risk. There will be some storms that will rotate just because there's so much twisting and turning in the atmosphere already. So it wouldn't take a lot to spin up a brief tornado.
But it doesn't mean there's going to be tornadoes everywhere.
Right, that's not what that means. So when you see those yellows and those oranges, don't think that everybody's getting a tornado today. That's not what that means. It's just that the atmospheric conditions are pretty ripe for something like that to happen. So we could see, I do think we'll have a couple tornado warnings in our vast vicinity, but again, those are warnings and not always confirmed tornadoes. So just today to be on guard, be prepared. And I would say to somebody, a lot of folks do have storm anxiety, whether it's from the Eden tornado that we're on the 5-year anniversary of, or maybe even the Greensboro tornado just a few years back. So a lot of folks remember that, or maybe strong storms or things that they went through. And again, I just tell you, try not to be anxious or worried, just be prepared. The best thing that we can do, and it'll happen if somebody doesn't get a storm in their neighborhood this afternoon, I'll get a nasty email about it. But we just really stress it's a whole lot better to be prepared, especially on a day like today, rather than be sorry. So know where your safe spot is. Just know where you're going to go in case a warning gets issued. Have your little severe weather kit there, a flashlight, make sure you're wearing shoes, maybe a helmet, maybe some goggles or something to protect your eyes. Just know where you're going to go and kind of be organized, whether you're at home or whether you're at work. Know where that safe spot is if a bad storm heads your way.
And I was just going to say, I think being prepared is the way that you take that edge off.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the best way you can be prepared is to know what timing of the day. So is it a school hour time frame? Is it a work, leaving home for work? Could you potentially be on the road? So in terms of timing, we're talking later in the day.
Yeah, and this is the time of day, especially on a Friday afternoon, where people are going to be on the road. This is that drive home from school, from work, to dinner, to your evening plans. And I really think that evening commute, really 5, 6, 7 o'clock, is kind of that sweet spot as far as time goes for us to see some severe weather. There's going to be one initial line that comes through with a broken line of showers and thunderstorms in that time frame, and then possibly another one later as the actual cold front slides by. So this will be out ahead of the cold front. But a lot of times what happens is a situation like this line's coming in ahead of the cold front, and when you get storms over one area for a certain amount of time, it really works that area and really works that atmosphere up. So usually it can stabilize the atmosphere. So once an area gets worked over really good for a while like this, then usually when that front comes through, there's not a lot of fuel or instability for it to work with. So main timing again, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. So there will be people on the road.
Right. One more question. I'm sure it's Melody. She said she's kind of worried about the falling trees and power outages, and that is a real possibility with this type of system.
Yeah, we talked about the risk of a few tornadoes, but also even more so than that is just the risk for damaging straight line winds. And we say that all the time. Hey, we have a damaging wind concern, and they can do as much damage as a tornado can. So again, if you have cars that are parked under trees, if you can park those away from trees, that's a good thing to do.
And for example, like in the Greensboro tornado, it wasn't the tornado that someone died from.
Right.
It was the wind knocking down a tree branch onto someone's car.
Very good point. Yeah, so if you can move away from that, and I would say, if you're able to be home during that time, just probably a good idea to park at home during that time this evening. And you know, and I'll mention it since we're on the 5-year anniversary of that Eden tornado and the storms up that way. Thankfully, amazingly, huge blessing that nobody died in that.
Right.
And a lot of that is contributed to being prepared and knowing where you're going to go and having that safe spot. And I'll say this again, you know, we talk about this anytime we have severe weather, but it's always a good reminder. If you live in a top floor apartment or if you live in a mobile home, find friends or call somebody you know that maybe lives in a low-level apartment or lives in a home. So ask them if you can come hang out with them for the afternoon or for the evening. That's really the best, safest thing to do, because the worst place to be in a tornado or a strong storm setup is a top-floor apartment or a mobile home.
I know you guys catch a lot of slack when we have to go on the air when there is an actual tornado threat, but Yolanda Bello wanted to make sure that you knew that she thanks you.
Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Keeping her and everyone informed.
Oh, sure. That's what we're here to do.
And it's like one of those win-win situations being a meteorologist, but in terms of severe weather, it's like everybody thinks you lose.
Yeah.
It's a win-win or a lose-lose, however you prefer to look at it. But you know, we're here to keep people safe. That's our job.
You know, we use this phrase around here a lot: prepare you, not scare you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I really like it. It's not just marketing, because it's really our approach around here to the weather. If it's not something that's worth hearing about, we're not going to really bring it up.
Yeah.
But when Christian asks for more time for weather today, over and over again in the morning show, there's a reason.
Oh yeah, you know, and I do it not only to convey what I think people should know and how to prepare for the day, but also to really explain it. You know, I like to use these busy weather days not only to prepare people, but also as a way to educate you. So you know, I always try to be 100% transparent with you. This is what I'm seeing. Let me explain this to you, and I try to use not so geeky terms because not everybody's so interested in weather as I am, but I try to get it where folks explain it and understand what's going on. And so that's part of the reason I ask for more weather time, just so people get the big picture.
All right, so big picture, stay weather aware.
Yep.
Potentially rougher weather between 5 to 7, that evening commute, but with the potential of it going through 10 o'clock. And keep your apps handy, the News 2 app handy, and your phones charged. Find a safe spot, make sure you have your backup plan. Yeah,
and we have a News 2 weather app specifically. You have radar on that, so you can see exactly what we're seeing. And if we get into a tornado warning situation that may be for your neighborhood, if you have to go into your safe spot, you can take that with you. Of course, we're going to be on TV, we'll be streaming, so you can track along the radar, you can watch us on those apps as well, so make sure you have that ready to go.
Brenda wanted me to tell you, you are thebomb.com. And it actually pulled up a website.
Is my picture on?
Don't click on it.
I'm not going to click on it.
Don't click on that.
I feel like that's
I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my gosh, no. Not saying that has anything to do with you, Brenda. But she, that's a say, bomb.com.
Well, thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that.
Yeah. We love you, and we appreciate you keeping us safe. We'll keep you updated all day.
Sure.
And on Facebook is definitely a good resource too.
Yeah, and sorry.
I was just going to say, y'all, this is a really good time to watch the noon too if you don't tune in every day, because things are changing with this.
Oh, yeah.
At noon, you're going to have the very latest of what people need to know for the rest of the day.
Yeah, we'll have the latest, and if the SPC or the National Weather Service decide to upgrade anything or maybe change their thinking.
Downgrade.
Yeah, we'll see. Then they usually do that at 11 o'clock. So we'll likely have the latest update for you at noon. And I'll tell you too, if you're following us on Facebook, or if you follow me on Facebook or Tim on Facebook, I'm going to try to do a Facebook Live around 10 or 10:15 this morning. And that will be really, really in depth. That's where I geek out a little bit. So we'll go in depth and explain it all for you. So if you don't catch this or you didn't catch the forecast this morning, we'll go through it all this morning again.
Your geekdom is the highlight of my day, every day. You live in it.
He needs like a pocket protector, doesn't he?
I think he has one.
Is that what's
just a pocket square? You're expecting to pull out my pins now out of my pocket?
I'm sure there's 10. All right, we'll keep you updated on all of our platforms. Right now we have to get to your headlines, and we do have another conversation that Ben can relate to specifically. All right, the Guilford County School Board has approved about $7 million to improve safety in schools. The money will go towards a new system for radio signals, which will cut down on dead zones. The district says they hope this will help with communication during an emergency. Well, some of that money comes from a fund set up for school safety a few years back. The rest will come from a fund for a project at Smith High School. The district said the school no longer needed the money. Smith is scheduled for a full renovation if the bond referendum passes. Well, the opening date for Danville's new casino is delayed. Caesars Entertainment says they hope they can open the casino by 2024. Supply chain issues and other market pressures are causing the delays. Cleanup at the former textile mill site is also taking longer than expected, but the city says despite the delay, they're going to rake in some cash anyway. Next year, Caesars will start paying out its annual payment of $5 million to the city.
Wow, what a jackpot for the city. Starting tomorrow, dogs will be temporarily banned from some of the Guilford Courthouse National Military Parks. The park says there were several incidents where dogs were off their leash and the owners were not picking up after them. That grinds my gears. The park outlines on a map here where dogs are not allowed temporarily. It's all the spot in red. Basically, they can go around the edges of the park still on those main trails. A park ranger says when the situation improves, if it improves, they will lift the ban. Dogs are still welcome on the park tour road, the city greenway, and several other trails near the visitor center. The High Point City Lake Pool will be closed for its third summer in a row. Construction is still underway to make improvements to the pool and the area right around it. The pool closed back in 2020, and city leaders thought, this pandemic, it might be a good time to start renovations. They broke ground last year, but kept pushing the project back. Officials say construction taken longer than expected because of all these circumstances of the pandemic and scheduling and cost increases.
This year's theme of Older Americans Month is Age My Way. It's all about allowing seniors to age in a way and at a pace that suits them. PACE of the Triad has given seniors that freedom for more than a decade. PACE assists with everyday aspects of living for seniors who need some assistance but want to maintain a sense of independency and remain active in the community. Their day program gives seniors an opportunity to socialize with one another and engage in playful activities. The nonprofit also prioritizes the physical aspects for its more than 200 participants.
I learned how to get my balance and everything straight, and I learned to associate with people. That was my biggest priority. It feels good for right now. Just to still have my independence.
According to the Administration for Community Living, 1/3 of older Americans live in poverty and most don't make it past the age of 65. Data from 2019 shows people 65 and older represent 16% of the U.S. population. PACE encourages families to closely monitor the seniors around them so they can live long, healthy lives.
I would not push services on them if it's not needed, but certainly if I start seeing changes in them, then it's time to have a conversation. Whether it's keeping the house together like they used to, whether it's preparing meals, or it may be some personal care issues that they need assistance with. Important things to remember is that there are resources in the community.
And PACE is right now accepting participants to start in June and July. The nonprofit recently received some grant funding that's going to allow them to expand their services to Forsyth, Stokes, and Surrey County.
Okay, guys, just to show you that we are all really friends here, I had an issue yesterday.
Help me.
And I posted this on Facebook, and Christian immediately said, dude, we gotta have a long talk.
I mean, you should step out of the way so people can see
I'm
this.
going to, but I want to preface this first. I'm going to block it for a second here. And I said, you know what? Let's not have this talk now. Let's wait and involve all of our other Facebook friends too.
Oh, yeah.
Because
It's about to catch it.
I already did. It's fine. I was driving, and whenever my car would get to like 50 miles per hour, it would go.
First problem.
Yeah, first problem, right? So I was like, something's wrong here. I need to go get it checked out. So I went to the tire place. They were like, let's take a look at this.
Second problem.
I don't know if you can see, there's like big gashes of the tread here missing.
Third problem.
I see a part of it. There's a part of it bubbling
Missing.
out on the bottom down there too. I think our little graphic there's covered it up. But there's a piece of the tire that looks like it's bubbling up.
Is there any way
too.
to drop that at the bottom? Because I got to see what he's talking about here.
Look right here.
Okay.
It's like it's bubbling up a little bit right here.
Oh. It could be just the angle.
It could be the angle.
Yeah.
But also
So
by the look of this tire, I wouldn't put it past it.
When's the last time you had?
Okay, I bought new tires in like the summer of last year.
Oh, that should
No.
not be happening.
And folks,
That should be under warranty.
By the way, I have had them rotated. That was one of the questions that people asked. I know there's something wrong with my car. We're going to get into that here in a minute. But also, people, you were talking about warranty.
Yes.
Not covered because they said the warranty only covers it if the wear's all the way across. If it's like this, they can tell it's a sign that something's wrong with the car.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple assumptions of what might
So
be
yes,
wrong.
I would love to hear all of these and what I did wrong because I need to learn from all of you
Wait,
guys.
did they diagnose a problem before we get into all the
They
speculation?
said we're a tire store, we're not mechanics. Here's what we think it might be, but take
Okay.
it to mechanics. So I'm doing that later today.
Okay.
Okay.
This
Now,
is my tree to make sure the mechanic doesn't get over on you, right?
right.
Right.
Let me preface this before I say what actually might have happened here.
Okay.
By the fact that I've seen Ben drive before.
Oh. Gotcha.
And I don't know if there's something wrong with his car or it's from Ben whipping the wheel around.
No.
I've seen Ben. I've ridden with him before.
Oh, wow.
I had to ask for a second seatbelt.
What? Is this all true?
I'm sorry, not all of us drive a tractor at 12 miles per hour, Christian. He has a tractor at his house, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he services
I
it
don't drive
himself.
that to work,
Right.
guys.
So I have not ridden with you, but I have found
But you're
myself.
scared to now, aren't you?
No, I live by the seat of my
You
pants.
seem like you're a speed
We like to
demon,
live
too.
life on the edge.
Okay, so
When the kids aren't with you,
Let-
you crank up that music and you just cruise it, don't you?
music, yes. I don't really hit the gas. Although my kids, after seeing Cars, are like, Mom, chicken, Lightning McQueen, chicken. They're like, rev it up. And I'm like, guys. But I don't want to teach them bad habits. So I just always go the speed limit. But it's not about me because my tires are fine at the moment. I had a question and now I forgot. Oh, I have seen you drive.
Yeah.
Because we've inadvertently wound up at the same light a few times.
Yeah.
And you drive like a law-abiding citizen, and I think that's commendable.
I drive sort of like a law-abiding citizen.
Well, next to me, you were like, "Oh, Tracy's right there. I better
I was like, who?
buckle up." But I
This
mean,
is slow,
I'm
but
not sure how you drive.
Apparently not well.
Yeah. So that
News to me.
That could be
By the
it.
way, never had a speeding ticket, so
That's amazing.
Gosh, this is
Let me
I'm going to HR, dude.
let me.
LeVar said, Ben be whipping it on the city streets, LOL. And then R. Ryan said, oh my, Ben must have a lead foot. Trina said, Ben, oh no, did you get your car checked regularly? Thankful that tire did not pop.
Okay, so instead of your
Sheree
your
said,
opinions about my driving, can you give me opinions about what you think is wrong?
All right,
with
let
my
But
me
we
get-
didn't get to that yet. Oh, okay, sorry. Go
Let
ahead.
me tell you what I think. These
Okay.
are my two assumptions. Either one, the thing is severely out of alignment, or two, you might have a tie rod issue.
So I think it might be the tire rod because when I'm driving, the steering wheel doesn't go angle. I can go straight. With
Does it
just-
feel like loose?
No.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
I think you might have a bent tie rod.
That sounds expensive.
Not cheap.
Well, there are a few.
It's more expensive than a speeding ticket.
Does the tire rod have anything to
When
do
I
with
know,
your
I never had one.
alignment? Because that is a suggestion that LeVar Jarrell is. Your alignment might be off, but you said
Yeah.
that you did
Yeah.
have your tires rotated. Usually
I've
they
had my tires
rotate
rotated,
and align
yeah.
the car at the same time, but that may not be.
Every time I get an oil change, they rotate the cars.
the tires, yeah.
Mm.
Well, Dana,
Which, by the way, I am not a car person, and I'm going to be really embarrassed to admit this. When I first
I can't
started
wait.
driving, I thought that, why do you need to have your tires rotated? Like they rotate all the time on the road.
oh
This is
my
when I
gosh.
was like 16, y'all.
Who gave this man a license?
To
The state of
drive.
Texas. Take it
Not
off
only
like
to
this.
drive, but to tell us about.
I'm calling some people.
Why
I'm
did we
getting on the
both just
phone.
leave? We left Ben all alone.
Thank
Hilarious.
you, Facebook friends, for not leaving me.
Oh, and that
I love you
was
so much.
honestly
Please
not
don't have my
planned.
back.
hilarious. Okay, so now that you know better than that, a lot of people are suggesting it's a front end alignment. So Carl Royster said that. LeVar Jarrell said alignment. So you should be maybe going in that direction
We're
when you
gonna
go to
start
a
with
mechanic.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll
Besides your
check
lead
tire
foot.
rod.
The tie rod.
Tie rod.
Tie rod. TIE. It's
What does that do? I don't know cars, so.
all right. So a tie rod. If you didn't have your tie rod and you were driving with just the steering wheel, your wheels would probably wobble a lot and probably wouldn't be straight. So your tie rod your tie rod is like holding everything together in organization. That's the easiest way I can explain it to you. Because, for instance, okay, this is going to come right back to Ben calling me out for my tractor, but on a lawnmower one time that I was mowing the yard with, the tie rod broke. And so one tire was going straight and the other one was like bowed out to the left. And so your tie rod,
On a lawnmower?
I was mowing, all right? Leave me alone. So the tie rod kind of keeps everything straight. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it to you.
Okay.
If you didn't have a tie rod, you'd be wobbling around a lot. Tires also may be out of balance. Maybe they're bad tires.
Joanna said maybe it's time to change the car.
Or the driver.
That idea.
Time for a new car.
Joanna, what kind of car should I get? Because I probably can't find one right now, to be honest.
No, used cars.
Yeah.
You might have to order a new car, but used cars
I love my car, though. I'm going to try to fix it first, because you know what? My car is paid off, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Brenda said that we should get Ben a horse to ride to work.
I did see that, and I was about
I
to
also
laugh.
really love that idea. I grew up in the country, and we
See?
used to have horses, so that makes me very happy.
Do you know how to ride one though?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
They can
making
only
sure.
go so fast.
They can go
Sometimes
fast.
faster than rush hour traffic.
All right. So besides that, everybody's suggesting it's an alignment. I'm going through the comments here. Joanna also said maybe just change the tires before she said change the car. And then
Change the
somebody else said
driver.
change the driver. Yes. Maybe Trina said maybe take a class on cars.
That's a great idea, Trina. And I think I'm going to look at the community colleges and maybe take something, because I like new hobbies anyway, and so learning about cars would be helpful.
I feel like if there's anything that you can learn so that you don't have to pay someone else to do it anymore, then you should, if you can afford it.
Yeah.
So like if you wanted to learn how to do your taxes, maybe take a class about taxes. That way you don't have to pay somebody else if your taxes are difficult. Or if you're always paying for a notary to sign things, why don't you become a notary? Not that you can sign your own stuff, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just kind of like little things that you can do.
I think this is a story just begging to be done, or a series where we teach Ben about cars. Teach him
I
to
would
work on
love
his own
that.
car.
Oh my gosh.
I know everything about the interior. I know the parts of a car.
Can we both learn about cars together?
I don't necessarily want to fix a car, but I can.
Do you want this to happen to your tires?
I guarantee you
She doesn't drive
that
like you.
won't happen to my tires. Now, something else might happen to my tires. I did, experience, having a blowout on the road before, and that's not fun. But it wasn't because of this. I hit a nail, or something was in the road and just, whatever. That wasn't fun. So I'm extremely careful with my tires. As a matter of fact, I do need one new tire. That's it. I'm gonna get it.
Okay. Listen, all of you out
Same.
there, thank you so much for being my friend and helping me out.
I love that you have a good sense of humor about the whole thing.
Of course you
He's
do. 'cause
willing
what
to
are you gonna
learn.
do?
Yes.
I want to learn.
Yes.
That's what we do as journalists. We learn something new every day. And especially in 2 Wants to Know, it's all about things that really impact your life. Well, I'm just glad nothing serious happened and we caught the problem early. Well, we
First-
got the problem before something serious happened.
First, before we diagnose the tire problem and teach you about tires and teach you about cars, you do know how to change a tire though, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've changed
All right.
many a tires.
All right, good.
Although my car does not have a spare tire right now, because it did not come with a spare tire. It was
gonna say,
not
one of those would come in
sold
handy
with a
right
spare
now.
tire.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
It was
a thing on,
sold
like, new
with
smaller
roadside
cars.
assistance, because it's a hybrid car, and they said it's better for the energy efficiency not to have a spare.
Interesting.
Brenda wants to make sure you know that she loves you. She actually
thank you,
said
Brenda.
we love you, suggesting
Oh.
that Christian and I also are.
You're like, don't speak for me, Brenda.
No. I also love you, Ben, and
We do.
I'm glad that
We
you
do.
are so comfortable sharing this knowledge or lack of with us. Melody said, "Best of luck on your car," and Rhonda wants you to keep them updated.
I will, for sure. Next week, when I find out what the problem is, we'll do this again in After GMS. I'll let you know.
Circle back around.
Yes, this is hilarious.
Not with the lead foot.
By the way, Carl said he's heading to Taylor Tire, so he can meet you there if you need a little extra.
Tires are fixed. I just need the rest of it.
Right, but I think they also do diagnostic issues, but you probably
Yeah.
need a mechanic at this point. All right, Ben, I know what you're going to be doing before 3 o'clock today.
Yeah, because after that, the weather's not going to make it fun.
Yeah, we are staying weather aware today. Again, if you didn't catch the first of our forecasts there, I've highlighted today. That's really the day to watch over the next 7, especially as we get into this afternoon. Mainly timing from about 3 p.m. until about 10 p.m. We'll have some scattered showers and some thunderstorms, all of us in a level 3 risk for severe weather across our area. So highest threat level that we've had so far this season and so far this year. So make sure you're staying weather aware. Damaging winds will be a concern. We also had the risk of a few tornadoes across North Carolina as well today. Hail will also be an issue in some of these storms as well. Again, main timing 3 to 10, but I think most of the action comes through the Piedmont and the immediate Triad proper by about 5, 6, and 7 this evening. So that Friday evening commute likely going to be a mess and quite nasty at times, and Friday evening plans could be messed up a bit as well. Make sure you have a way to get warnings. Of course, we'll be on TV if they get issued. Of course, we are going to have all the information for you all day long. You can trust in our team here to keep you updated. And I'll be doing a Facebook Live around 10 or 10:15 this morning. Meteorologist Christian Morgan, you can find me there, and we'll go through it all in detail again.
Okay, one last bit of advice from Dana. Just to slow down on the curves.
Okay, I will, Mom.
Exactly. And Brenda wanted to make sure that she knew that she had a lot of fun with us today.
We had a lot of fun
Brenda.
with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
It is actually the highlight of my day every day that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. You're going to be here all day.
I'll be here a long time.
Because of the radar acting up, but I'll be home. No, actually, I have to MC an event today. So
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
I'm not
too
going
fast.
anywhere either, yeah. All right, thanks so much for joining us on After GMS. We will see you here next time, Monday. Have a great Mother's Day for all the moms out there, and be weather aware. Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
See you guys.